Welcome to the Italian Wine Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Vinitaly International Wine and Spirits Exhibition. The 54th edition of Vinitaly was held from the 10th to the 13th of April. If you missed it, don't worry. Go to vinitalyplus.com for on-demand recordings of all the sessions from the exhibition.
Welcome to this special Italian Wine Podcast broadcast. This episode is a recording off Clubhouse, the popular drop-in audio chat. This Clubhouse session was taken from the Wine Business Club and Italian Wine Club. Listen in as wine lovers and experts alike engage in some great conversation on a range of topics in wine. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. And remember to subscribe and rate our show wherever you tune in.
Okay, welcome everybody. My name's Stevie Kim. This is the Italian Wine Club at Clubhouse, and this is our Ambassador's Corner. Ciao, Kevin.
Ciao.
How are you, Kevin?
Oh, I'm fantastic. How are you, Stevie?
Okay, I just want to introduce you to Kevin Di Lucente. He's our mod for today. Are you Italian? Have you got any Italian origin?
Yes. So technically, I qualify for dual citizenships based on my father's family.
So where's your dad from?
Oh, my dad is from here in the States, but his grandfather was from Abruzzo.
Ah, okay. So do you speak Italian as well?
I try. I've been studying for the past several years, and I have a couple of Italian tutors that I have lessons with every week, but I wouldn't consider myself an excellent speaker.
So let me just introduce you folks to Kevin Di Lucente. He is our Italian Wine Ambassador. He did our course in July of last year in New York City edition, and he came late. I think he was one of the last ones to kind of stroll in, and he had with him this very, Tiffany teal vase with him. I was like, who is this dude? Do you want to tell them, our audience, what that was all about?
Well, that was a pretty generous description of what I actually brought in. In actuality, it was a garbage can that I bought from Bed Bath & Beyond on 6th Avenue. So one of the criteria was for the tasting center to allow us to be there, we needed to bring our own spit buckets because obviously COVID times. And I had flown in from Buffalo and realized, I don't really have a good way to pack something, so I need to buy something when I arrive. So I'm just like, using my brain to figure out what I could possibly come up with as a solution. I said, well, there's a Bed Bath & Beyond, and then I went in and I shopped for a garbage can.
Yeah, it was hilarious. I was like, he's such a clown, and I was like, I hope he passes. I hope he studied. And it turns out that, ladies and gentlemen, he was actually the best of the class. He outperformed everybody. So congratulations to Kevin. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in Verona. You are coming as a judge for 5-Star Wines. It's your first time, right?
Yes, it is. I'm excited.
So Kevin, listen, you have a job. You have a real job, right? Day job. Besides
Yes.
drinking and representing Italian wine.
I have been lucky enough to be in the wine industry since 2009, but presently I work for Winebow here in the U.S., and I've been here at Winebow for almost 8 years now. So.
And are you doing the Italian wine portfolio? What is your specialty?
No, I'm just a standard issue, plain Jane sales rep.
Okay, all right. And you're in Ohio?
No, I'm in Buffalo, New York, Western New York.
Buffalo, New York, yes. I don't know why I thought you were from Ohio. All right, so listen, Kevin, welcome to the Ambassador's Corner. So your job today is to moderate your favorite wine producer, Giacomo Colombera, for today. And why did you choose Giacomo Colombera?
Well, for multiple reasons. Obviously, I really, really am a huge fan of the wines, but I also like the region as a whole, and it kind of like place to my, where I'm from in Buffalo, New York. We're kind of an underdog city in both economics and our sports teams. And it would appear that
what is the underdog region we're talking about, just so that the others are...
The Alto Piemonte.
Alto Piemonte.
And really not underdog in the same sense, but like it once was a very, a great region, and the production was much higher. And now the production is much smaller, but it's still great. So just a smaller region that still produces excellent quality, similar to Buffalo being a smaller region, still producing excellent, people and culture and whatnot.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's it maybe is a little bit of a stretch, but it does. I was searching for some parallels, and I think that kind of for me is what hit the home the most.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, Alto Piemonte is analogous to Buffalo, New York. So
you heard it here.
Takeaway. Yeah, that's a good takeaway. So what is the name of the winery?
Oh, Colombera and Garella.
Okay, alrighty. And so, and what are we expecting to learn as a student, as an Italian wine student from your call today with Giacomo?
Well, definitely all from Giacomo's perspective. I wanted to learn about the region as a whole and kind of start with this larger lens and kind of get smaller and smaller as we go along in the conversation. And then learn about the estate itself, the estate's history and philosophy, and to learn about the native grapes and what the specific, wines taste like, and have fun.
Okay, so just before I pass it over to you, Kevin, with Giacomo, I just wanted to let the audience know that we are coming back also the day after tomorrow for Italian Wine Club, and that's Tomasetta Pernicciaro. It's a marathon this week, like us trying to kill me. She'll be interviewing Mariolina Baccelleri. And then we also have another interview with Sarah Bray, and she'll be interviewing tomorrow. That's on the not Italian Wine Club, but on the Wine Business Club. And that's where Sarah Bray will be interviewing Barbara Widmer of Brancaya. So if you're confused, just go on my avatar, and if you click below, it's the other club that you will see. It's the Wine Business Club. Okay, and then I think the very last Ambassador's Corner that we'll be doing before the Vinitaly Marathon, because as you know, 5-Star Wine starts with the 1st of April. Yes, April Fool's Day. So that means we're on from the 31st of March. So the 30th will be our last Ambassador's Corner. We're taking just before the hiatus, for the Vinitaly Marathon. So we'll be off for 2 weeks. Is that correct, Laika?
Yep, that's right.
Laika, how are you feeling?
All good. I'm sorry. Yes, that's okay.
She's a bit under the weather, so she's at home today. Okay, all right, Kevin, take it away. Now I'll be back if should there be any questions in the end. There's a new function now. I don't know if you guys realized, but there's also a chat box. If you do have a question, we can also you can send it anytime. You don't have to wait till the end. There is a chat box that we can access to. Okay, so see you later. Ciao, Kevin.
Ciao. So I'd like to start by introducing Giacomo. I have a nice little bio to share with you all, in case you're unfamiliar. Giacomo Colombera was born in the wine region of the Alto Piemonte in 1992. So he's still quite young compared to at least myself. He began his studies at the University of Viticulture and Oenology of Alba in 2010, where he first made attempts as a winemaker. And in the same year, the winery Colombera and Garella project was established with Cristiano Garella. Giacomo has been a winemaker to Colombera and Garella since 2015, so almost as long as I've been at Winebo, you've been there. Ciao, Giacomo.
Ciao, Kevin. Ciao.
Thank you so much for coming on and talking to me today. I'm really a huge fan of your wines, and I know we've never met in person in real life, and I've never been to the winery, but I feel like I've visited the winery so many times in drinking the wines and enjoying them.
Thank you for everything. Thank you.
I can say that I first had I first had your Vespolina. I was on a vacation down in Charleston, South Carolina, which is a state south of where I am now. And I was in this small restaurant called Renzo. And it was when I was starting my studies with Vinitaly and trying to seek out the native grapes of Italy. And when I saw the Vespolina, I said, I have to get a bottle of that. And immediately enjoyed it. And I turned around the bottle on the back and I looked and I saw that your U.S. importer lists their address as Buffalo, New York. So it was almost serendipity that brought us together.
Yeah. No, Portovino is our importer. It's in Buffalo, and Vespolina is our last wine. And the idea of Vespolina is to make a fresh wine typical from our region, but for drinking. Not it's for fun. It's for drinking. It's with in Italy it's aperitivo, so it's spicy and with a good acidity. So the idea is to make a fresh wine for understand our region. Vespolina, it's one of our typical varieties. So it's typical from our region. Is cultivated here in Alto Piemonte, and I think it's a good bottle for understand the region.
Terrific. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that and the other grapes later. Let's give the listeners maybe a little bit of an understanding of the Alto Piemonte as a region, and perhaps talk a little bit about the history of the region. I know that there's a time in the 1800s where there was many, many more vineyards planted. So what happened from then until today, where there's probably more vineyards planted than there were, 50, 60 years ago, but there's still not as many as there once was. So if you could share a little bit about that history.
Now the situation is totally different than the situation in the beginning of the 90s. In the beginning of the 90s, Alto Piemonte was a region with a lot of vineyard. I think we talk about 40,000 hectares. Now we are around 2,000, 3,000 hectares. So it's totally different number of vineyard, and was different because now all the vineyard is the maximum part of the vineyard is worked by a producer of wine in bottle. In the past, all the people have a small vineyard for produce wine for the family, and was typical to work in the vineyard. Then after the First World War, here and after the Second World War, this region was famous for different things. Here in my city, in Biella, was famous for the wool industry. So a lot of people stopped to work in the vineyard because working in the vineyards was not easy and was difficult for make money. So it's easier to work in the industry, and this is the reason because a lot of people abandon the vineyard. In around the 90s or 2000, we have a little renaissance. So a lot of people retry to make wine, retry to plant vineyard, and born a lot of new small cellar. And I think this now is the situation, this change. But the quality was, I think, I was good in the past, and now a lot of people understand the quality of the region and try to rebuild a cellar or replant a vineyard in the same plot where the vineyard was in the past.
So is that something that people are nowadays? There's lots of new interest in the area where you're seeing on a regular basis new people coming in to revitalize vineyards.
Yeah. So now the last 4 years ago, Conterno by the Nervi in Gattinara, and this was really important for the region because Giacomo Conterno is one of the most famous producers in Italy, in the world, and he decided to invest here in the region. And this is important for a lot of people know now the Alto Piemonte region, but before other producer like Proprietà Sperino in Lessona, so Isole Olena, and Christoph Kunzel in Piane, and in Bramaterra region, Le Pianelle with investitor of German investitor and other people understand the region and choose to invest here. Now I think the region is really important. Is really we are in a good moment around the world. The people speak about Alto Piemonte. In the region, a lot of people understand, but not all the people understand this is a good region for make wine. So year by year, with the tasting and with different things, the people understand. But I think it's a good renaissance now.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad to hear that that's happening because I definitely I love this region and the wines. And speaking about the region, let's keep the lens more broad before diving into the specifics of your winery and talk a little bit about the climate.
Mm-hmm.
What is the climate like there? What are the features in the area and regular weather events that will affect each vintage, or at least typically affect a vintage?
So the climate it's depend a lot to the influence of the mountain. So we are close to the mountain. So normally in this region we have a lot of rain than Barolo. So normally the double of the rain of the Langhe region. And the climate normally during the winter it's hot than Barolo or the Langhe, and during the summer it's colder because the mountain covered to the wind and covered to the give a influence to the we don't have a lot of difference of temperature during the year. So, okay, the summer is hotter, the winter is cold, but less than the other regions. So the temperature don't change with a lot like at the other place. No, sorry for my English, but I think it's easy to understand.
Oh, absolutely. Your English is way better than my Italian.
No, okay. And so now the climate change because when I speak with my father or with the ancient people here, during the 80s, the 90s, here was really difficult to make wine with 12 degree of alcohol potential because the rain was more, and in the past year was one of the place in Italy where we have more rain and snow. Now this year it's around 2 months without 2 months without rain. The climate change during the summer. Now we have not a lot, not hot temperature, but the problem is when we have the rain. Normally we don't have only rain, but a lot of time we have rain and a little bit of hail. So it change. So it's not normal rain, but it's rain with wind, with fast wind, and is more tropical climate now, and it change. But the last vintage, so since 2000, was all the vintage was good because when you talk with ancient people here, you say, okay, but the last vintage was easy. In the past, we pick the grape in November. Now we pick the grape at the end of September or in the beginning of October. So it change a lot of things, I think.
Yeah, wow. So, speaking about the hail, do you guys do anything in the vineyards to protect the vines, or you just are at the mercy of the weather?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment. At the moment, we don't have net or different thing, but we think about this. I don't know. Now it's different sellers try to use the net and for cover the hail, and we think it's a good solution, but depending because the plant. So in the space where you have the grape and the leaf, with the net we have more humidity. So we try to understand if is the best solution, and we try to understand if it is the only solution for the problem of hail. We hope in the next vintage without hail, but the 2020 we have a hail in September. In the past, we don't see the hail in September. This year we have in a different place we have hail for 3 times, so it's unusual. So we try to understand what's the future of this problem.
Totally understandable. I definitely hope that you can avoid hell altogether. I'm sure that's what you always.
Yeah, but I think it's a problem in general. So in Bourgogne or Chablis, it's difficult to make wine because we have the frost in April, or in the spring we have the same problem in 2017. This year in the spring was cold, but not cold like frost. So every year we try to work with this problem, and it's not easy, but year by year we try to understand the climate change. It's real, so it's not. It's real. So if you work with the nature, you understand.
Yeah, I say if you don't believe in climate change, talk to someone who farms the land. So let's talk about the soils for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's a good range of soils, and you make two different wines that come from
Mm-hmm.
two different parts. But just in general, what are the soils like there, and how did they form geologically, and then how does it affect the vines and the wine?
So the soil, I think one of the most important thing about the soil is the pH. So the pH of our soil is acid. So it's totally different than the pH of Langhe region, because in the Langhe region and a lot of different places in Italy, the pH is basic. So the availability of the micro elements in the roots is different, and so in the grape is the grape growth, and the vines growth is different. The different is really ancient soil. Then I'm not expert in soil, so I'm not a geologist or different. So I say what I heard to the other people. So our soil it's volcanic, not in all the Alto Piemonte, but the best place, the most of the place is volcanic. It's the important thing is you can find a different soil in a short distance. So we have the cellar in the village of Masserano. Masserano is one of the seven village of the Bramaterra denomination. We are close to Lessona. We are the last hill of the Bramaterra. We are close to Lessona. In Lessona, you can find a sandy soil, so you can find a fossil in the vineyard, and is sandy and really is yellow soil, really yellow. Here in Masserano, the other place in Cotignano, where we have the cellar and we have a vineyard, the vineyard where we produce the Bramaterra, we have a red soil rich of iron with porphyric rocks, and it's crazy because it's totally different. But you have the same difference in Gattinara. Gattinara is more sandy than the region here in Masserano, but it's porphyric. So under the soil, 1 meter under the soil, you can find rocks, and the same in another plots of Bramaterra. So I think it's really interesting. Now it's really hard to understand, and it's important for the producer to communicate about the soil, because all the producer of the same denomination make different wine because the soil is totally different, and it's totally different because it's created when the now it's not easy for me in English to explain, but when the mountain the create the mountain, so the I don't know in English to understand. So, but it's really ancient, and the part in the past when where the soil was into the center of the earth. Now it's to the atmosphere. So this is the reason, because it's really different in a small distance. So I don't know if it's clear.
Oh yeah, definitely, absolutely. Yeah, that's very interesting. When studying this region, that was one of the most interesting parts for me, is just to learn about, like you said, you could kind of go down the road and they have different soils, and that obviously affects the wines, which we'll talk about in a little bit. How many producers are currently in the region? Did you mention that earlier?
I think around 50, 60 producer, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, it's then every year we have new small producer maybe start to work in the vineyard, but I think producer with his label it's around 60 producers, 50 to 70 producers.
And then next month it'll be even more, right?
Maybe.
So let's dive into the specifics of your winery. We kind of gave a good broad generalization of the area. So how did your family first choose the sites to grow? Was it by chance, or were the sites chosen intentionally where you were able to have the opportunity to go, this is the site we want to work with, or this is just what we ended up getting?
No, it's not intentionally because in 1992 when I born, my father and my mother bought our house, the house of the family here in Massarano. My father is born in Lessona, my mother is the same in Lessona, and he find this ancient cascina, and he restored. In this moment, my father working in the rice industry, and he don't want to make wine, so the so the this place, this house with the land, and the land in the land we have two small vineyards. During this year, my father tried to make wine, and he understand the potential of the wine, and he stopped working in the rice industry, and he started to work in the industry of the wine. So he worked to 96 to 05 in Antoniolo cellar in Gattinara for understand the vinification, for understand the viticulture in general. And so our vineyard is not chosen internationally, because if you want to choose the place with your idea, you can have a lot of money, and so we don't have a lot of we can't buy what we want. So we have it's only all is a chance. So my father rent another vineyard in Roasio in 2005, and he built a new vineyard here near the house. We built a vineyard in a land of a friend of my father in Lessona, and year by year. So you have if you have the opportunity to make to build a vineyard, to restore a vineyard, or rent a vineyard, you try to make this. So it's not we don't choose, but we try to make the best in the vineyard where we have.
Oh, I think you absolutely do, and whether or not you chose it or not, I think you were very fortunate to be able to work with what you work with.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy. I'm absolutely happy.
Yeah. So speaking about the grapes that you grow, you already spoke a little bit about Vespolina. What are some of the other varietals that you grow? Obviously, where everyone's going to know the most common one, Nebbiolo. But are there some other varietals that you grow as well too?
Yeah, we work with Nebbiolo, Vespolina, and Croatina. It's 3 varieties. And the characteristic is so we have Nebbiolo. Okay, all the people love wines know Nebbiolo. So Nebbiolo here in Alto Piemonte is different than the Langhe. Is more elegant, more fruity. So we have more elegance and acidity, not the power of the other region. Vespolina is interesting because is at the nose is spicy, and is really spicy with good acidity. Croatina have more structure, color, structure, tannins, and help in the blending for the body. Okay.
How many wines do you produce? I've had 4 different wines of yours: the Lessona, the Bramatera, the Vespolina, and the Coste della Sesia. Are those the 4 wines you produce?
Yeah, exactly. I produce these 4 wines exactly.
Terrific. So, the if you were to sit down with someone and have a glass of, for example, the Lessona and the Bramatera side by side, how would they present differently in the glass, and how does their individual terroirs reflect that?
Okay, the first difference is the, 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 the cepage of the two wines, because in Lessona the denomination you can make Lessona with totally Nebbiolo. So the denomination you can make 85% of Nebbiolo or more. So we make Lessona with totally Nebbiolo, and you can feel so normally the color is we have less color. We have the sensation of the nose is more fresh because our vineyard Lessona is a fresh vineyard, and it's more balsamic and with small red fruit. In the palate, the wine is really straight. It's not don't have a big body, but straight with we try to have a good maturation on the tannins to make wine with a full body but strength with a good acidity. So good acidity and good drinkability. Bramaterra, for the denomination, we have 80% of Nebbiolo, and the other 20% is different. Is divided to Vespolina and Croatina. So the color is more. We have more color. At the nose, you have the spicy sensation of the Vespolina and the mineral part of the soil of Bramaterra. So with the sensation of irons, the minerals. In the body is more. We have more body, so the wine more complex, more tannins, but with the same good acidity for have a drinkability. So this is the difference to the.
Terrific. So let's talk about your relationship with Cristiano Garella. So obviously, both of your family names are on the bottle. How did the partnership come to be?
Yeah, but Cristiano was a friend. We play football together, and then in the region we don't not a lot of young people working in the wine industry. So my father knew Cristiano before, and then Cristiano in 2009 and 2010. I helped Cristiano during the harvest. Cristiano in this period working for Tenute Sella, and Cristiano showed me a lot of different things about vinification and talked to me with for the importance of the soil, for the importance of the different vineyard, and say normally in 2009 and 10 was my first year to understand to tasting the wine, to understand the region, and he say a lot of different times. He say, for me, Alto Piemonte, we can make one of the best wines in the world here. So study and go in the vineyard, try the wines every day, try to understand the different specific of our vineyard, and so this we met in this case during the harvest, and after was an idea to make wine together because in this period I was young and I don't have a lot of experience. Cristiano showed me a lot of different things, so was my dream to make a wine together for make wine with our philosophy, and so we started in 2010, and now we continue to make wine. So I think it's good.
That's terrific. So you said he taught you a lot. What was one of the first lessons that you learned that really opened your eyes?
During the first time, I don't understand everything. When I come to Alba, when I go to Alba for studying, and with me in my classroom, I have Vaira from Barolo, I have Otten from Valle d'Aosta, and together we go in a lot of different cellars to taste, to understand the other vineyard, the other wines. And when I taste the wines from the Langhe, I understand. Okay, this is one of the best wine in Italy, and for me, the wines from Alto Piemonte is not so different. The quality is not less quality; it's different. It's different tasting. Is different. Different wines, but not with less quality. The quality, the potential is the same. Now in the Langhe, the people make wine a lot of year with the same quality. So is different. We have a lot of improvement to make, but I understand. Okay, we have the quality, we have the potential for make great wines here.
Terrific. So you also work with, do I see that you work with your brother as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Guglielmo studied. Guglielmo is born in 1996, so I have 4 years less than me, and he studied in Alba like me in university, and we work together. So now he understand the different things. He have experience in Bourgogne, so he worked for David Duban, and it's I think it's interesting in the future to make wine together, three enologists with three different idea, and I think it's important.
That's terrific. And my next question was actually to ask you about, do you look outside the region for inspiration? And it sounds like absolutely yes, you do. So how often are you constantly checking out other regions and what's going on there, and then bringing it and applying it back to what you do?
Yeah, the one of the most important thing when you produce wine is to taste the wine from the other producer and from the other region for understand, and because you have different grapes, but you can experience to see to the other wines, you know. So when in Bourgogne you work with all the grapes with it don't the stems, maybe we can try to make in the cellar a different vinification for try to have the same sensation in the wine, no. So I think it's important to taste and to try, because maybe you can make a great Nebbiolo with a different vinification. So it's important to taste and to taste it and to try every year to make the best wine the best wine. Okay.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about your farming practices and why you do them and why you think they matter in the overall production of your wine.
I think one of the most important thing it's like in the vineyard and in the cellar is don't make something if you don't need something, no. So if you don't if the in the vineyard we don't want to use a lot of chemical products if you don't have if you don't need. So if you can cut the grass, you don't use herbicide or different things. And the same with the systemic with the chemical products. So if you don't need to use this, don't use it. And this is the same in the cellar. So if the wines don't need addition or of different things, you don't add something. If the wine don't need the pump over, of don't need to move, okay, the wine stay here. If the wine is good, okay, try to conserve the quality, okay, in the cellar. In the vineyard and in the cellar, the most important thing is to the tasting. So all the years you taste the wine, you understand the wine. Now is in a good moment for make the this operation. Now is not in a good moment. So you can taste it when the wine is ready to go in the botti or in the barrique, and you taste when the wine is ready to leave this the barrique or botti. And in the vineyard is the same, to work with the respect of the nature. And I think it's important for the production, for everything, for the environment, for everything. And I think this is you can feel this in the wine. So is the wine is really typical. Is not you feel the sensation. You feel the sensation of Alto Piemonte. So it's typical, and so it's not easy to explain for me, but I think so it's clear for you.
Yes, yeah, absolutely clear.
Okay.
So do you think this is the general consensus in the region? Where people believe that this is the way that the land should be farmed?
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people understand this. The viticulture change 20 years ago was not. This is not the idea. But now a lot of producer try to make typical wine from this region and don't try to make wine here like in another place. So try to conserve the quality of the region. And in the vineyard, I see a lot of respect for the environment in all in the big part of the vineyard of Alto Piemonte.
Terrific, terrific. I like to hear that. So I promised Stevie that we would have some fun, in the learning objective. So this next question is going to lead more towards the fun side of things. If you could
Mm-hmm.
make wine, let's say you weren't making wine at Colombera and Garella. If you could make wine in one region outside of the Alto Piemonte, it can be in Italy or anywhere else in the world right now, but you only had to choose one place. Where would it be and why?
It's a hard question. Maybe Bourgogne it's easy to answer, but I think it's a good place for make wine now. I think it's Jura. I'm really interested in this wine. I taste a lot of this wine, and in the future I want to go and to understand better the region. And it's a dream, but maybe I don't know. But I taste the wine, and I think it's similar than Alto Piemonte. No, it's close to region like Bourgogne or other important region. It's an underdog now. It's famous now. A lot of people speak about Jura and his wine, the Savagnin, the oxidation, the Chardonnay is different than the Chardonnay of the Burgundy, but have really good quality. And the red wine from Jura is similar in different aspect in the red wine of Alto Piemonte because you work only on the freshness on the elegance and not on the full body, like the Pulsar or Trousseau. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I can say that when I go to a restaurant and I'm typically on a budget, and I want to get a
Mm-hmm.
nice bottle of wine, and it's not Italian wine, and it's not your wine,
Mm-hmm.
Giacomo. I typically look to the Jura for wines. I mean, I love Pulsard. I'm excited to hear you say that.
it's I think we love this style, so it's easy to this answer.
Yeah, I can definitely wholeheartedly agree. Okay, so you touched a little bit earlier on your time at the university in Alba.
Mm-hmm.
Um, was that something that you knew you wanted to do early on, or is it something that you kind of just fell into after some other interests?
No, I try because in 2010 I help only my father, but I'm not the passion of the wine in this moment. I have passion of football, I have passion of different things, but not of the wine. And so I try because in school I was good in math or in scientific part, but not. I don't know. In this moment, I don't know, and so I try to understand more the viticulture and enology, and then maybe I make this decision because I think my father was happy about this, so was happy to see one of his son to try to make the same, and it was for this. Then after this, and then the world change, and I prefer make a dinner with wine than to go in the disco. So this then it's was this was for this, but I think it's I make a good decision in the past.
Terrific, yeah, and you're happy. You're happy now, and that's all that matters.
No, I'm happy now. Absolutely.
So speaking of the winery, do you have plans in the future for projects in the region beyond what you presently do, or is you kind of this is where you're at and you're happy at this production level?
No, now I think it's important. I have a different, not different, but I have a project now. We buy some land, some forest here close to the cellar, and in Lessona, because we have a lot of you can find a lot of different place here for build a vineyard, and we wanted to we try to build a new vineyard for near close to the cellar for in a good plot for make different another Bramatera or another Lessona for try to make wine in a different vineyard, and to make two different Bramatera maybe in the future, or two different Lessona, because it's easy for the people to understand the difference of the soil and the different vineyard. So this is the project for the future.
Terrific. So speaking of the cellar, what do you do in the cellar after harvest? Are you using stainless steel, or are you using oak?
We use all the different materials, because when you don't have a lot of money for buy the new tank, you buy when you find, no. So we use concrete, because we buy concrete 5 years ago when the concrete is not a trend, and so we buy used concrete, and we use the concrete for the fermentation of Nebbiolo. Then we use fiberglass and inox for the fermentation of Nebbiolo for Costa della Sesia or for Vespolina and Coratina. The wood, so the barrique and botti, we use only for the aging of the wines. So it's we make the fermentation. After the fermentation, we blend the different wine or the different varieties in Bramatera and in Costa della Sesia. We wait the natural malolactic in the spring after the harvest, and after the malolactic we add a little bit of sulfites, and the wines go in the botti or use barrique or use tonneau.
Terrific. So I'm looking at four of your. I have some wines in my possession right now, and I'm looking at your labels. Who designed your labels?
The brother of Cristiano, Daniele, because when we started in 2010 to make wine, then in 2013 we arrive at the moment. Okay, we don't have the label, so what's the inspiration about the label? And with Cristiano, with my family, we think about okay, we are a traditional place, but we are but is now is a renaissance, and we are a young seller. So we try to make the tradition, but the young. So I think it's not a heavy label. So with tradition, or it's I think it's a good balance to tradition and young idea of wine. I think is not hipster, but is not tradition or boring label.
I think you nailed it. I think that's exactly what I get from it. It's a little ode to the tradition, but still something fresh and new, and I really like it. And I like that they're slightly different colors, kind of earth tonish colors for each of the bottling. I think that's really fitting of the wines.
Yeah, the idea in Bramatera and Lessona, it's the color of the soil. So you see the Lessona is yellow, like the sandy soil in Lessona, and Bramatera is red, like the red soil here in Bramatera. Costa della Sesia is green because it's in the past it was more gray, but the typography is not every year make the same colors. But okay, but this is the idea is to work with the color of the soil.
So it's a collective, work. Everyone at the winery pitches in for the marketing. As that sounds like it. All right, so let's have some more fun, and I'll ask you the next question. What's one of your favorite places in your vineyards that you feel very lucky to visit every time you're there?
I think in the top of the vineyard here in Cotignano, in the top of the vineyard, you can see the same view of the label. So you see the house with the cellar and behind you see the mountain. So normally in a winter day, you have a sunny day in the winter, when you have the snow on the mountain, it's a really beautiful view. And you see, I see a lot, all the different. So you see the vineyard, the new vineyard. You see the house. You see the history of the cellar, and you understand. Okay, we are in Alto Piemonte. We are close to the mountain. We have the vineyard. We have the house of the family. So it's a good place.
Wow, I wish I could visit. And speaking of which, does the winery receive visitors?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, we received it before. I want a call because not all day I'm in the cellar. Maybe I'm in the vineyard, or maybe I make something in my free time. But if you call before, for me it's a pleasure to visit the cellar. It's important for us to visit it, to talk about the wines, and to talk about the region. It's important because the people can understand the different the soil. It's not only wine, it's history, it's history of the region. It's a lot of different things. It's important to speak about the wine, speak about in particular in this region. It's important the visit in the cellar.
Okay. How about another fun question? Do you have a fond memory of a harvest or experience working at the winery? Maybe some story, some crazy story that happened during a harvest, or something with your friend Cristiano, or your brother or your father that happened that you like to share?
Yeah, but I have a different crazy story, but normally it's with the wines, because when you drink more wine, a lot of wine, normally you have a lot of story. But I think interesting things. It's during the harvest. Um, During the Sunday, during the harvest, we make a party with family and friends, with Cristiano, his girlfriend, with my friends, and my family, and we pick up the grape only in the morning. We press together. We make a small tank to start the fermentation, and after this we eat together. So 25, 30 people, and we have a party. We drink different wine. Every friends bring the different wine to taste, blind tasting, and sometimes people um, present my wine in blind tasting, and I I don't recognize my wine. So it's I think it's a good moment during every harvest, in a good harvest or in a bad harvest.
Yeah, I can imagine. Any time spent with friends or family, especially these days, is definitely to be cherished. So I'm
Yeah,
happy
because
that.
it's crazy days. It's crazy days because normally you are stressed. You don't sleep a lot of hour. You finish in the night, and you restart in the early morning. So it's a good moment with every. Okay, it's a good part of the work.
Yes, totally. Well, Giacomo, it has been my absolute pleasure to be able to interview you today. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of your wines. I look forward to drinking many more bottles, and one day soon visiting you at the winery.
Thank you very much. I wait you here in the cellar, and sorry for maybe not all is clear, but I try to make the best.
You're making me want to go back and study my Italian textbooks even more, because your English was excellent. So thank you. And I'm going to hand the room back over to Stevie. Stevie, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Listen, I love the Ambassador's Corner because I get to discover new wineries. Because I don't know about you, Kevin, but like sometimes I feel like I know plenty of producers, but I end up drinking always more or less the same wine. I mean, my repertoire is pretty, large, but I have never even met, of course, Giacomo, but I'm on his website now. And I was going to ask actually the same question about the label, because I do believe his label is very smart. right? You can't put it you can't put your finger on it, but he explained it very well about the soil, I guess the declination of the various shades of the soils for the label. I thought that's very interesting. So Giacomo, I do have one question. I know we don't have very much time, but can you tell us like the production size of your wines? Like how many bottles do you produce?
We produce around 25,000 bottles. We are a small
In total?
one. In total, yes.
Oh my goodness. So we're just going to have to raid your cellar very soon. Where do you distribute and you have, I see on your website you have 4 labels. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. I have 4 labels. We make Vespolina, it's called Vispavola. Then we make Costa della Sesia Rosso, is our easy wine, fresh wine, like with Nebbiolo and Croatina and Vespolina. And then we make the 2 our important wine is Bramaterra and Lessona.
So if we should start with, we are unfamiliar with your wines. Which wine should we start with I guess we're the most familiar with, of course, Barolo, Barbaresco, etc., even Barbera and Dolcetto. Which wine would you point us as the first wine to try to kind of give an idea of what the look and feel of your winery is like?
I think the Costa della Sesia.
If I were to choose one wine, which one would you suggest?
I think Costa della Sesia is the first wine that you can try because it's typical from it's typical from Alto Piemonte, but it's easy. So it's we try to make wine with drinkability to pairing with food, and have a balance to acidity and fruity. So you can match with a lot of different food. It's really gastronomic and it's easy wine, but it's really important to understand the region, to understand the style of the wine, because it's Nebbiolo like Barolo, Barbaresco, or Langhe Nebbiolo, but it's it's different because we don't have the same power, but we have elegance and freshness and drinkability.
Okay. Where do you work? I know, of course, in Italy, we can probably find your wine readily online, although you have a small production. What about stateside, in America? How do we get your wines?
My wines in America is distributed to Portovino, and I think it's we work in all the state of United States, and I think more in New York region or in a big market of the wine in the United States. And normally, I think I know working very well in a good restaurant, in a good enoteca. So I'm really happy about the work of our importer.
Yeah, because I'm looking at, of course, your prices online in Italy, and it's very affordable. So I can't wait to try one of your wines very soon. Maybe we can do it with Kevin together at Vinitaly. So Giacomo, thank you so much. Kevin, great pick. I loved it. I think we've learned so much. And just to tell everybody, tomorrow, don't forget to come back, same time, we have interview from Sarah Bray with Brancaya, and that's with Barbara Whitman. That's tomorrow. So come back tomorrow. That's on the other channel, Wine Business. Thank you so much, you guys. Ciao, ragazzi.
Grazie. Ciao. Thank you.
Ciao.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Italian Wine Podcast, brought to you by Vinitaly International Wine and Spirits Exhibition, the biggest drinks trade fair in the world. Remember to subscribe to Italian Wine Podcast and catch us on SoundCloud, Spotify, and wherever you get your pods. You can also find us at ItalianWinePodcast.com.
Guys, I'm Joy Livingston, and I am the producer of the Italian Wine Podcast. Thank you for listening. We are the only wine podcast that has been doing a daily show since the pandemic began. This is a labor of love, and we are committed to bringing you free content every day. Of course, this takes time and effort, not to mention the cost of equipment, production, and editing. We would be grateful for your donations, suggestions, requests, and ideas. For more information on how to get in touch, go to ItalianWinePodcast.com.